These are, seriously, I'm completely on the side. I've never seen...
I love this thing. I can't stop playing with it. And then when I'm done with the question, I can't put it down because I'm like, I gotta one like sticks, the other two don't.
Last year, Jason kept on taking it apart and unscrewing it and putting it back together.
It's really rad, though. It's like this little tripod action on here. It's
yeah, and this goes down.
Hey, look at that.
And Jason was rubbing his face around the microphone.
Yes. They weren't embarrassing at all. They were just painful. And that was the worst part. Like, the hardest part about that, aside of the process of doing it alone, was the fact that you would think you'd get it right on. I mean, you'd scream forever, "Ah!" and you keep going, and you finally think it was over, and you'd take a big breath, and then it was just another cut, and then it was still screaming. Like, okay, we gotta do that one again. Can you hold that any longer? I'm like, no, I can't hold it out any longer. The Japanese quit. Why can't I quit? Because the Americans insisted on, like, there were a few things that, some I agreed with, some I didn't, that Funimation did at the start. They believed that every time a human turned his head, he's got to grunt.
And keeping Goku played by a woman.
Yeah, I'm actually happy that Goku was played by a man. No offense. I'm glad the kid Goku was played by a woman, but Goku sounded like a woman in the Japanese version all the way through. But the other thing they always like to do is make sure that every time the character's mouth was open, there was a sound coming out of it. And anytime they're like, you would turn a doorknob, you were supposed to make a sound for that, like. It's like, wow, these guys are supposed to be really strong. I don't think they're making huge efforts to open a door. And then the worst part was having to scream the entire time, because in the Japanese version they just go, "Ha!" and that's it. And then of course the mouth will still be hanging open and the screen will be shaking and all this stuff, but they don't have to worry about it anymore. Japanese are so lucky. Like, you dub so slow.
Yeah, they live in the future.
We can finish dub in 20 minutes.
It's not a dub out in a day, actually.
Yeah. Because they can
go to a studio when I'm there. Yeah.
I saw them dubbing something. I don't actually know what it was, and they wouldn't tell me what it was. But yeah, they sit there with the script and they just go at it. Everyone in the room at the same time. It's like a prelay dub.
Yeah, they're watching and they're leaning in and out. Don't kick over the T.
Oh my gosh, this music is really good. Actually, it's great. It's well thematic for our panel today. The saddest Q&A panel ever. One man.
Well, you had your hand up first.
Depends on the time in the series, actually. Earlier on in the series, I don't think his power level was that great. No, not gonna do it. This is gonna be my first convention where I'm refusing to say it. Yeah, this is it. I was told yesterday to refuse, and I'm going to now. However, when you meet Brian Drummond, tell him to say it. Brian Drummond's actually the voice that was in that Over 9,000 thing. And he's from Canada, too. I mean, that's awesome. Make him do it.
He hasn't been to a convention since 2005.
Yeah, because of the Over 9,000 thing. So.
When you say 2005? Wrong. Since 9,000! I don't know. That's September 2000. I got it.
Okay, so I know that at some point both companies, both like Funimation and like you did some work for 4Kids. I know that both companies at some point have had a lot of negative criticism.
Does this have any other music? I'm sorry.
Just need a title shot.
It must be the DVD menu.
Yeah.
Okay, that
I
makes
know
sense.
Hey, can you make that music happier?
It's depressing, isn't it? Yeah. I know that at some point, both companies have had like a lot of negative criticism. I mean, when I told some of my friends on DeviantArt that I was going to New York for a J-Rock concert, you would not believe how many people told me go to Funimation and burn it down.
In New York?
Yes, when I went to New York.
Well, those people were idiots.
Four kids, sorry. I'm not thinking straight. Some people told me to go to find 4 kids and burn it down, and I said no. That is totally.
Well, that was a good decision.
Actually,
Thank you.
And I said to them, you have no idea how disrespectful you are being. Hey, these are people with jobs just like you. They deserve respect for the work that they do. You may not approve of what they do, but it's still hard work that they put their heart and dedication into.
Do those people say, go find NYD posts and give them a high five?
I don't know. Anyway, but I was just wondering, like, to comments such as that, and to a lot of the negative criticisms, how do you guys deal with that, and what do you say to those?
Normally I tell them I'm not going to burn it down, but then I do anyway. Because then they have plausible deniability, you know what I mean? Where if anyone asks them, like, oh, he said he wasn't going to burn it down.
Someone else must say that. There's a lot of reasons for different things. Like, first of all, 4 kids has a lot of other constraints put on them, like taking out the cigarette, putting in a lollipop. You know, they're not allowed to broadcast a cigarette on Saturday morning television in the States. So they make a lot of those judgments based on stuff like that. And then, you know, the matter of taste is usually dictated by that kind of stuff, or the licensor.
To that point, I thought it was better that with Funimation they just took out the whole stick entirely.
See, but it's all a matter of preference and what's physically possible. It may be easier to take it out. If they took it out, they'd get complaints either way.
It makes him not look kiddyish though with the lollipop.
No, but the blow pop gave a lot of money to 4 kids. No, they didn't. I'm kidding.
I really think that. Everyone has the right to dislike what they don't like, and I agree. I'll sit here and tell you right now that I didn't necessarily like a lot of things that Funimation was doing to Dragon Ball Z back in the day, but I understand why they did it though, because really anime is very limited in scope, and you guys have to realize that. I mean, there's a lot of people who like it now, but you're only a small percentage of the people that they're trying to actually get to like this show. And I can understand why a company is trying to reach the largest possible market. And if they can make a show like, you know, if they could have made a show like One Piece, huge, with kids everywhere, then I think the show would have a lot more life. You'd probably hate it because it'd be a shell of what you're used to. But you'll always have the original, and then you'll always know what the original is like. So I can understand when companies do it. I don't necessarily like it. I don't necessarily like the censorship on television, but that's just the way it is. So I wouldn't burn down any buildings anytime soon.
Yeah, then it's not worth going to jail because the show was bad. But also, the 2 of us are particularly lucky because there aren't a lot of guys who do what we do. Well, who are voice actors, then also have production companies and get to direct things. And I feel like if someone's criticizing 4 kids, I don't take it personally. Some of the actors who are there are like, oh, bummer, I've been working really hard on the show, and people hate me for it when it's not their fault. Me, I'm like, thanks for the check. I love being a turtle, and I love being a turtle. And I'm going to go back to my place and do things the way I want to do them. And I don't get bad press. Woo! So Overtron doesn't get bad press. So we get to do things the way we like to, and with that we were lucky. You know, most actors just get hired and then they have to do what they're doing.